So let's have a look at this AK63DS. This is how it comes from Century Arms. I went down to SWFA in Midlothian, Texas and picked this up. Picked it up in person. Was able to have a quick look at it. Just wanted to make sure that the sights were straight, and they were. So here's what comes in the box. You're also going to get the 130 round PMag, a MOMAG that comes with this rifle. Cleaning rod. Rifle itself, a chamber flag, and comes with a gun lock as well. Maybe something that's sort of required by law here. All right, let's move this box out of the way and have a deeper look at the rifle. So we'll start from the muzzle end. Got a US made break. C marked, probably for Century. Century imported these and contracted the builder to assemble them. One thing I've noticed that's interesting on every one of these I've seen is this front pin in the front sight is not parkerized. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's an oversized pin that the builder was using on all of them. Because if you look at this pin, I'm not sure if you can quite see it. It's just a little bit egged. Not bad. Just a little bit egged. Only on this side. Nice and tight over here. So that may be an oversized pin. Not sure. Sights were straight. Like I said, I inspected this one myself. Barrel on this is not chrome lined and not hammer forged. So if it's taken care of, it should be good for 10,000 rounds or a few more. I'm not going to put that many through this rifle ever. I'm using this mostly for filming. It'll get a lot of blanks put through it. Not as many live rounds, but we will put some through it. But this is required because BATF cuts up the original barrels before the importer can bring them in. We have to put US made barrels on it. These Hungarians have a 47 style gas tube with these gas ports. They also have the M gas ports in the gas block. Not exactly sure why that is. You get a lot of gas bleed off that way, but they seem to run well. It's a military issue gun after all. Wood is absolutely beautiful. Surplus Hungarian wood. The only issue I found was this little ding right here. And this might not have even happened when Century had these built. This could have happened in the gun store actually. This was on display for a little while. I don't know, not sure. Either way, I'm okay with it. Other than that, wood is beautiful. Has a unique Hungarian style grip on it. And before you discount this grip, if you've got bigger hands, you're going to love this grip. My buddy Matt, he's got big hands, big gorilla hands. And man, it gives him so much more purchase than a standard AK grip would. He really liked this grip, even though it looks a little bit funky, at least unique. Sights are in great shape. Go up to 1,000 meters. Original Hungarian sight. Everything works good there. Got your X and Y marks on your receiver. I believe this is a Nodak Spud receiver. Either way, appears to be in really good shape. Got all of our markings here on the bottom, which I really like. I don't like those billboards down the side. One detractor is it's a safe fire mark to lower rather than having the original marks. Not a huge deal, but if you know, from a purist standpoint, we'd rather have the original style Hungarian marks. Stamped top cover. Not a single serial number matches on this gun. So keep in mind, I gave $580 out the door for this gun, tax and all. So at that price, I wasn't going to cry about serial numbers matching, as long as it was a quality build. We'll get into it a little deeper, but I believe that it is. Rear stock locks up nice and tight. Everything on this rifle feels tight at this point. Everything on it feels tight. So that's an overview. Let's take it apart, get into it a little deeper. Also, mag fitment. I've got a bunch of mags. Like I said, it came with a plastic P mag, but a bunch of my surplus mags, they all rock in and fit great. Mag well's not too loose. I've got some mags that are just a little bit tighter than others, but they all are absolutely serviceable. So as far as the mag well is concerned, they did a good job with that, I think. Take this top cover off. So one thing I noticed, let's go into this. I've already cleaned it, but this was covered in some rusty, muddy, slimy debris that was down inside the carrier hole here. I'm not sure if that was from the parkerization process or what, but it was filthy. I cleaned it all up, and it's good to go. One thing you'll notice, there's no lube in here. You know, usually these come pretty heavily oiled because the manufacturer knows most guys are going to take this straight from the shelf out to the range and blast a few mags through it. But it's pretty dry, pretty much bone dry in here. And I was a little surprised by that. So I always do a visual inspection, checking the barrel, make sure there's no obstructions, making sure that the weapon's lubed and everything looks like it's put together right before I put a round through it. But if you don't, on this one, on this Century AK63DS, you're going to want to at least lube the weapon before you put too many rounds through it. The rear stock hinge appeared to be lubed. You can see there's a little bit of oil bleeding out right there. But the fire control group and the bolt carrier bolt were pretty dry. Let's look at those a little bit deeper. Here's your carrier. Hungarian carriers were not lightning cut, so that's a correct carrier. A little bit of play in the piston, exactly like it should be. That's put together well. The carrier's been refinished, reparkerized. Well, the whole weapon has, except for the bolt. The bolt's just original surplus finish. That's a paint over park. I'm going to paint over park this rifle later on. We'll do a video on that once it's done. But it looks good. Definitely some rounds through it. It's definitely been cycled a few times, but it's appears to be in good serviceable shape. And these bolts, being original military bolts, are excellent bolts. Same thing with the trunions. You know, a lot of those U.S. rifles have these cast trunions now, and they're just junk. But this is an original forged trunion, so it should be good to go. I already said this, but the barrel's not chrome lined. I cleaned it. Looks good. I expect it to be a good barrel. It's got this Century Rack 1 trigger. Don't have a lot of experience on this. They seem to get good reviews. What they did is they reprofiled the contour on the hammer face so that it doesn't cause peening on the tail of your carrier here, like a lot of the Tapco G2s are doing. And we'll put rounds through this and we'll give a report back and see how it goes. But I really like this trigger. I fired both the G2s, mil surplus triggers, and just dry firing this Rack 1 trigger. This Rack 1 trigger is nice. It's not a Geisley, but it's also better than a standard mil-spec trigger. It's a double hook trigger. It seems really smooth. It's a smooth, nice, clean break. A little bit heavy, but I'm happy with it. Surplus springs on that. Hungarians had a unique gas tube lever also. It's not quite as beefy as that one on Soviet AKM. It's a little bit lighter material. And this one's on really tight. I actually have to use the carrier slot to remove this. But totally serviceable. Like I said, the gun all in all is a nice tight rifle. Also, on this muzzle brake, US muzzle brake, we talked about this. Quality looks good. The original Hungarians, all the ones I've seen were actually cast. Have cast marks down the side and the threading's a little bit crude. This one's nice, but here's the problem. It was absolutely full of debris. I don't know if this ended up on the floor and got swept up at the end of the day in the shop and dropped back into the bin, but the threads on this brake were covered in debris. And I had to take it apart. It was all gritty removing it. Clean it really good, lube it, and put it back on. It's fine now. Maybe it was just, like I said, a Friday afternoon and it ended up in the dust bin before it ended up back on this rifle, but it was absolutely filthy inside, not from shooting, but from some type of shop debris. Bayonet lug, sling swivel on the side, of course, back here as well. There she is, guys. Basically, quick unboxing of what you can expect to get with the AK63DS. Now there's a difference, don't be confused. The AK63D is a Hungarian AKM parts kit, everything's AKM spec, on a US milled receiver. That is not what this rifle is. This rifle is like the original. It is a AKM parts kit, AKM front sight block, barrel, stamp stock on a stamped US receiver. This is correct for, this is what the military arms looks like, and they still use these today. They're still using these in Hungary right now, dealing with some of the refugees and immigrants that are trying to come into the country from some of the former Balkans states. But this is a standard issue rifle today to much of their military. Underfolder stock, 16-inch barrel, standard handguards. Funny thing is that you can see these handguards go through traditions through the years where Hungary had forward pistol grips and this and that, and ended up on their last iteration of the AK being this one, just going with the standard old 47 slab side grips right back to their original AK-47, which they called the AK-55. Pretty neat. Yeah, if you guys are looking for a inexpensive quality build, I would say this is one you've got to look at. I did a lot of research and I just felt like this was one of the best deals going out there right now for the money. Rivets all look really good. I inspected these rivets really close. None of them are towed up in any way. They're all flush with the receiver. All the heads look nice and round. Nothing strange going on. All of the bucktails looked really good. Let's see if we can get you in here and see this. Look at that bucktail. They just look perfect. They all look that good. They're not toenailed over in any way. They're all nice and smooth. Look at that. So they did a good job on the riveting of this receiver. Happy with that. So I just say, if you buy one of these, you can't go wrong. Just inspect it. Make sure the sights are pretty straight. These were. Give it a good cleaning and a good lubrication before you go and fire it. So we'll come back with another video. Like I said, I'm going to refinish this, a paint over part like the originals. And then we'll get it out to the range and put some rounds through it. Let you know if this thing even runs. You know, don't go buy one of these based on this review, because this is really just an unboxing. We haven't put any rounds through it at all. But we will. Alright guys, well, that's it for the AK63DS from Hungary, rebuilt by contracting company for Century. Appreciate you guys watching the video. Stay tuned. We'll do some more updates on this shortly.